want to hear from some guys and hearing why they got ghosted exactly. See, what is the reason why? I'm going to try to do this on the phone. I think this would be podcast number 177. No, I don't want to join with you, buddy. I don't know you. Do 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 do. Well, for one, a guy not really trying, no one has time for a cat and mouse. Well, what would you define as not trying, ma'am? What is not trying to you? What is minimal effort? What's up, Beta Niles? What's going on? Also, guys, we're on YouTube. So if you guys hit the link in the bio, you can go join that. I don't know what's going on with Anchor and Spotify on my Spotify podcast, but it has been giving me a hell of a time. So we're going to try this on the phone. I don't have enough characters to explain. Well, try to give your best iteration of why. What is not enough effort? Damn, no headphones. Shit. I could put these big old bulky things on, but I don't necessarily want to do that. What's your boxing record? I am 1-0 as a pro, and as an amateur, I have quite a lot of fights. Off the top of my head, I usually say like 100. There's probably a little more. I want to say it was really a little more than that, but I don't tell people that I'm fighting. We don't tell them that. We don't tell promoters that because, pro fighters just starting out are very afraid of losing, so they don't usually give. If you have a lot of experience, they don't usually give you a lot of opportunities. But we're not here to talk about boxing record. We're here to talk about why she ghosted you. That's the question. Damn, I don't even have headphones. This shit really sucks. Whatever. We're just gonna do this on here now. All right, guys. So, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily call this a podcast, but because I'm not keeping track, I really want to keep track of the numbers. I guess if we do count this one, I guess it would be like 178. And we're just gonna get right into it because I also want to go over another topic after this. I like the topics with the LGBTQ. Those are really interesting, but we have to stick to our purpose. We have to stick, to helping men be men. We have to stick to men, figuring out things that they need help with. I know because I know masculinity is being attacked in a massive way nowadays. So for the topic today, we talk about why are women ghosting. And when I speak to a lot of men, what I find is a lot of men are finding situations where they're talking to girls, and they find out that, they think things are going well. They think things are going to be great. They think things are going good. And that's not necessarily the case. And next thing you know, they find out, oh, this girl ghosted them. Things get bad. Things went bad. A lot of guys who hit me up and a lot of guys who book phone consultations, a lot of them say, well, I was talking to this girl and everything was going good. And I thought everything was going good. She was real receptive. We hung out, we talked. And next thing you know, she ghosted me or things went bad, and a lot of guys don't really understand that. A lot of guys don't really understand that when it comes to this situation, why they're being ghosted. And I really put it right here in my new book. It's right here, Make Her Obsessed, Volume 1. Hit the link in the bio to check that out. I talk about a lot of things that contribute to that. Like a lot of things, like not understanding that you not taking the initiative. Let me talk about taking initiative. One thing like that, and I'm completely freestyling. I don't even have a whiteboard up or anything. For example, if you're on a date and you're not taking initiative. You're not taking the lead. This can be a small, minor thing as to why girls will ghost you. I see it all the time with guys, right? For example, if you go on a date and you're waiting for her to choose the place that you're going to, you're waiting for her to take initiative on things. You're waiting for her to set the time. You're waiting for her for this. You're waiting for her for that. Now, simple thing, you guys don't necessarily always have to wait for that. You don't, right? You can you can say, well, hey, do you like go-kart racing, for example? This is just an example, and this is actually a better way of asking somebody on a date. You like go-kart racing? Oh, that's great. Um, when are you free? "Oh, okay, I'm free next week Friday. Okay. And you say, all right, so next week Friday around five-ish. Oh, that works for me. Okay. Next week Friday around five-ish, we're gonna go-kart racing. Now, one mistake a lot of guys make is they'd be like, next week, Thursday, me and you, we're gonna go out to eat and then we're gonna go to the movies, right? Taking initiative, thinking that's the right thing to do. But the only problem with that is that girl, something legitimately might come up. Sometimes she might have work and forgot about it. She might have to be called in for a shift. She might have to do overtime. Something might come up. Something can always come up. But the problem is, when you do it in this manner, things get harder and harder for you. Things get harder and harder for you. So when you're trying to properly take initiative to ask a girl out, you should do it in this way. And another mistake guys make is they'll talk to a girl all fucking day. They'll talk to this girl all day and never ask her out, never talk about going to on a date, never talking about making a date. And next thing you know, they're getting ghosted. They're getting ghosted. They're getting ghosted because you're not taking initiative. Taking initiative is very important. Women, a lot of women might not say it, but they do want to be led. They do want a guy that knows what he's doing, right? Obviously, we're not talking about the feminists because usually when you don't take the lead on things and you wait for her, you usually find your dynamics to be where she's a little controlling, or usually when she's dominating the situation, she's taking the lead and she's wearing the pants in a relationship. Because we know women that prefer that type of situation, um, women that are usually a little more masculine, they usually do attract feminine or weaker men because weaker men you know, aren't usually taking the lead on things. You can even look at when you go on dates. And this is why a lot of times guys go on dates and then after the date, they think everything was going well and it doesn't. Like, for example, they'd be like, well, she wasn't exactly flirting that much. She wasn't really flirty. Uh, you know, she didn't really like do things with like opening up. You're waiting for this girl to open up. You're waiting for this girl to say a joke. You're waiting for this girl to take a lead, right? You're waiting for this girl to do a lot of things that you should be taking initiative on, right? But I can understand where the confusion comes in because there's this big debate in society on gender roles, right? And not to go too far left in that conversation, but when you start to mix up gender roles, then you kind of forget your just inclination that you should have naturally as a man. Like, for example, one that's up for debate, oh, should we go 50-50 on the date? Should she pay for the date? Should I pay for my food and she pay for her food? No, dude. I don't, like I tell guys all the time, I don't believe in the 50-50 thing, right? I don't believe in that. You should take initiative, right? And that little thing is a part of attraction. When you go on a date and you say, I got this, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm gonna pay for everything. And it is a bit of a turnoff when you go on a date with a girl, everything's going great. And a lot of girls will pump fake when it comes to spending. They'll be like, oh yeah, let me get my wallet and I'm gonna go in here, and they'll be in there forever just fumbling around and just fake. They pump faking. They're not really gonna pay. They don't really want to pay, but they're just seeing what you're gonna do. They expect you to pay. They expect you to pay. But they'll ghost and they'll do the, oh yeah, and then but you should pay. Little things like this, thinking that, oh, I don't care, I'm doing 50-50. Well, you'll have a lot more success if you're a lot more willing to pay for dates than when you're not. And that's the truth. And it's little things like that that guys don't know, but that's a little confusing. I can get that and I can understand that that's a little confusing when you say women are the same as men and women can do all the things as men. Now, I'm not saying that we're not equal, but we're very different. Um, and I think that a man that can take the lead, a man that takes charge, usually doesn't have a lot of problems or run into a lot of issues, especially financially, that a man that's not doing it, right? Now, I can say if you're going on a date with a girl and she never pays, like never even offers, like she never actually pays, then you may have a situation there where where that situation is not necessarily validational, it's more transactional, right? Like, oh, I'll take you on a date, I'll give you some if you pay for this. Oh, well, I'll think about going out with you if you take me to this really nice restaurant, right? You want validational, you don't want transactional, you don't want things to be transactional. And this is why having game and learning how to make a woman obsessed, and the ebook right there, hit the link in the bio, get it, is one of the reasons as to why you know you have to learn to do these things. And even women that are not considered traditional, when you go about things in a certain way, and when you go about things in a manner in which you are, you have her seeking your validation, and you have her seeking things like your interests. And I think one of the biggest things that guys don't understand is keeping the mystery. And this is one of the biggest reasons why guys get ghosted. You talk to a girl, and then the first like, the first date, she knows everything about you, right? Well, this is one of the main reasons, not the exact reason, but she knows everything about you. She knows everything about you in the first date. And then every time you hit up, you're available. Good morning text every day. Listen, the best thing that you can ever do for a woman, the best gift you can ever give her, is the ability to miss her. Is for her have the ability to miss you, right? And how do you do that? You're not you're not always in her phone. You're not always calling her. And I'm not saying that you necessarily have to be deliberate in doing this, right? If you're genuinely a busy person, if you genuinely have goals, if you're genuinely on your purpose, and you don't make it a priority to always text her and text her back right away and this and that and the third. Now, there are times where you need to have some back and forth conversation. Let's be real. Like, I don't really advocate for guys who say, oh, ignore her for a few hours and then get back. Well, when you do that all the time and you're texting every hour, every other hour, you don't really get the chance to have good back and forth interaction. Right. So I would say, well, hey, I'm at work right now. I might text a little slow, or I might not be able to text you. So this way, for those hours, she's not going to be texting you. She's not going to be able to text you, which makes a lot of sense because that's a legitimate excuse for not being able to talk to you all day, right? That's a legitimate excuse. Or if you're in the gym, I don't really text or talk while I'm in the gym. I might send you a text here and there, but that's a legitimate excuse. But the best thing that you can do for that woman is give her the chance to actually miss you. I thought this was very fundamental. This is very basic, fundamental thing, very rudimentary thing that I thought it was, but apparently it's not. And you have to understand is, if you don't give someone a chance to miss you, if you don't give someone the chance um actually miss you and appreciate your time and give you a chance to get with you, how is she ever going to miss you? And this is another reason why guys get ghosted. You think that sending good morning texts every morning is going to put you in her good graces? Well, guys have to understand, you don't treat women like a fucking gym goal, right? I can understand if you're working for something, right? If you're working for something, uh, like if you're working for a car, if you're working to save $80,000, if you're working for what you call it, if you're working for stuff like, an actual goal, something that you're trying to obtain, you have to stay hammering it and keep going at it until you get it. But you don't treat women like that. And that's men logic. I'm gonna keep working and working and working. Oh, she thinks she's playing hard to get. Oh, that means she wants me to try harder. No, that's not code for try harder, right? That's not code for try harder. What you have to do is you have to understand that you have to be a human being and keep the mystery. You have to keep the mystery. So one, guys think that texting every morning and texting goodnight every night, even if she texts you, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to text her good morning every morning. That's corny. That's corny. It not only is it corny, it doesn't help your situation when it comes to getting girls. It doesn't. Trust me when I tell you. It really doesn't. It really doesn't, because it becomes very predictable. It becomes very methodical, you know. It becomes very boring. Very, very boring. And that's another thing that guys don't understand. Oh, well, I know guys, well, I feel bad. Hey, KB, I can I feel bad if she texts me every morning. It's okay. She could text you good night some nights and you don't reply. She'll be like, hey, what happened last night? You didn't text me. Oh my God, what happened? I fell asleep. Oh, okay. Well, did you sleep well? It's as simple as that. Guys overthink it because what you have to understand, and when you break that cycle, what you're doing is you're making her think about you. And we know, how does someone fall in love? Somebody usually falls in love when you're thinking about that person when they're not around. And because you're so consistent, you don't give this person a chance to miss you. You're always in their face, you're always texting them. There's no time for healthy space, no time for that person to miss you. They can never fall in love with you. Never, ever, ever. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. So, sending a morning text every morning is not something you have to do. You can just sometimes you can just build off the conversation that you were previously having. Everything doesn't have to be formal over text. And another reason why, and this is probably one of the last two reasons. I'll give you two more because a lot of the stuff is in the book, guys. So make sure you get that book, hit the link in the bio. But another reason as to why, a lot of men get ghosted by girls, especially at the very beginning, and letting that girl know that you like her. Now, obviously, you should be attracted to her. Obviously, you should, let her know that you like her as far as attraction goes. But usually, if a girl knows she has you in the bag, I promise you, she's gonna lose interest. She's gonna lose interest. Now, there are always exceptions to the rules, right? There's always exceptions to the rules. Always, 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 always exceptions to the rules. Um, and I tend to break those rules sometimes, right? But when you have enough knowledge, you have enough experience, you know what you're doing. For the very basic, you shouldn't let a girl know that you like her straight up right away. Because when she knows she likes you, and this is the psychology of it, and I want everybody to pay attention to this, especially if you're a guy having a problem with this. And I guess I was gonna say maybe it can work with guys, but it's different with men. You can tell a man he likes you, and they go, "Oh, great, I like you too. Oh, let's do this then. Let's you want to be my girlfriend." Guys are very simple, so it's different. And what happens when you let a girl know that you like her straight up? What happens is in her head, this is this is like a key for like, oh, he likes me. So he really likes me. Damn. Not only do you could say you like her, but then your actions show it also. In her head, she's like, okay, I don't have to put effort, right? I don't have to make as much effort. And why don't I have to make much effort? Because he's texting me every morning. He's coming to pick me up. Every time we go out, he's definitely gonna pay. He already told me like him. I already know his full-blown work schedule. He's already begging to see me. I just saw him. He told me he missed me. Like, I already know I can have him. So, like, there's no challenge there. So in her mind, she's automatically going to put less effort. She's automatically going to say, well, I don't have to really impress him because he's already liking me and I ain't even try hard. So what I got to put on my best outfit for? What I don't have to, I could come see him in sweatpants. It's not going to really make a difference. I don't have to do much. I already know he likes me. I already know he likes me. I already know he likes me, so I don't have to put in a lot of effort. So automatically, when you let a girl know, when you confess your feelings straight up, you let her know that you like her. You kind of give up this challenge, and you see this in a lot of romance movies and a lot of romance books. Like girls want to know if, like, if you do really like him. There's that sense of mystery. I'm not really sure. I'm not really too sure about this guy, right? I'm not really sure if he really really likes me. But when you you give up that mystery, and there's this whole idea in society that uh you know that she's the prize and she has to be the goal and happy wife, happy life, but that's not necessarily true. And this is why you see guys that are usually considered ain't shit, or guys that are considered toxic, usually do really good with women because they do this naturally, right? They'll be a little flirty, they'll be a little, say some slick things, be a little fresh, and then keep that mystery. But this guy's never saying, "Oh, I'm super in love with you." Why? Because he has other girls on his roster. He's all this and all this stuff. He knows how to get her emotions going. You know, so it's a little different when it comes to things like this. It's just a little different. And you guys, and all of it is all encompassing, right? Not keeping the mystery, not letting her know you like her, not giving her the chance to miss you. And these are some of the really big mistakes that guys make when it comes to, not letting a girl know, not letting a girl know that, I like you 100%. And it's not something you really should do, and it's counterproductive for you. Like, listen, this is gold. That's why I want everybody go hit the link in the bio and get the book, Volume 1, Make Her Obsess. And then this is really the problem with a lot of guys. And this is a big problem. Um, but let me take some questions, guys. If you do come up, let's be appropriate, be respectful, no cursing, no foul language, nothing crazy. Um, bro, I saw you text me. I can't really respond right now. Are you a moderator? Did I make you a moderator? Oh yeah, you are a moderator. Oh boy, Hendrix. I see somebody wanted to come up. What's the deal, man? What's your name? Where you from?
DJ from New York, bro.
Okay. And Why in the House was good though?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said, and Why in the House was good though?
Why in the House is good.
Yeah.
Just chilling, bro. But no, it's crazy because I've been kind of watching your content for a little bit now. I know you've been on and off TikTok because of your page getting deleted and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I apologize. I know you said no cursing.
You good? You good?
Yeah,
you
no,
good? You good? Just don't go crazy and say some off the wall
no,
shit.
of course. But like, I do similar content, and I was saying like a lot of what you're talking about, like I speak about on my TikTok as well. You feel me? So like, I understand the concepts of just so. I actually have a story, if you don't mind me saying, about this girl that I'm talking to. So this girl, and it talks about exactly what you're kind of saying and how I play it. So like, this girl, like, she's definitely like on the scale. She's like an eight, like 8, 9. You feel me? Like she's definitely up there. Like she's Dominican, fat ass, everything. You feel me? So she's up there, and I already know she has that. She be playing kind of those games where she's like, oh, like she knows guys really drool over her and kind of do all the work to kind of maintain whatever attention that she may want from them. But like how I went about it with her was, kind of like what you were saying, taking that initiative and being like, yo, so matter of fact, what's your schedule look like? I'm free on this day. Can you do this day? Right? And kind of showing her, hey, look, this is when I'm free. If you free, you free. If you're not, you're not. You know what I mean? So what ended up happening with her was I ended up. Sorry, let me So you should get a little FaceTime. My fault. But
you good, man. Don't matter.
I ended up. She ended up telling me, "Oh, like I'm not free this day." Like she ended up canceling like the day before, but then she followed up and said, "Oh, we could do this day instead." So that all tells me like, oh, like Shorty has like somewhat, high interest if she's willing to do that. You know what I mean? So, at the how I see stuff like that, it definitely shows that like, all right, cool. So this girl's somewhat interested. So I ended up, following through, going on the date with her and shit. But I think part of what you're saying is 100% true. Like it's taking that initiative, paying for the date 100%, because with a woman like that, like you can't kind of be weary in the sense that like, oh, like you pay for your own meal and I pay for my own, like that wouldn't work with someone like that. So I realized through dating her that like she has a lot. She plays these games, right? She plays these games in the sense that like she takes days to text back. But I don't care, like cause like I have my own options, I have my own things going on. So she takes days to text back, and honestly, like I be chilling, but then she'll text me like 3 4 days later, like, oh, trying to like entertain the conversation, and I don't even answer. But then she'll double text me. You know what I mean? So like, talk part of those tactics of what you're saying is just like kind of showing that there's still mystery there. Like, oh, she doesn't know much about me. I'm not over here trying to text her every morning and call her and do all this extra nonsense. You know what I mean? So I 100% agree with what you're saying, but it really it all comes down to the psychology of like how women work, and like knowing that if they have you like where they want you, they're gonna lose attraction for you. 100%.
No, 100%, and even on a deeper level, and I'll drop another gem, and I'll put a lot of stuff in my book. Um, there's something called a validational cup, and when you go on a date with a girl, and the validational cup is this imaginary cup. Now, if no one's giving validation, compliments, right? If no one's giving compliments, someone has to do it. So if you're on a date with a girl, and usually, this is something that it kind of correlates with negging. Negging is like usually giving a backhanded compliment, and it comes off as an insult. But going back to this validational cup, so it's like, for example, if I'm on a date with a girl and I don't compliment her at all, like we're having a great conversation, I'll even tease her. And maybe even flirt, but I will give no compliments. And usually, what comes from that is eventually she will compliment me because I'm not complimenting her. Now, especially for a girl who is probably like an 8, 9, or especially a 10, is used to getting compliments, is used to validation. So sometimes that just may be seen as something normal, but when you're not doing it, it's an indicator of a few things, that maybe you're used to this type of girl, you're used to this type of attention, you're used to having very pretty girls in your face, you're used to it. And what that does is, so if you're not complimenting her, and because it's so abnormal, eventually she will compliment you, and search and seeking a compliment in return, right? So usually when you don't do that, and that's another nuance of like keeping this validation going on, and it's another nuance of it, but that's just on a deeper level, and that's one thing that I do put in the book, and when it comes to keeping that mystery, and also, not, like I said before, not telling too much. There's a lot of different things, and there's levels to it. And that's something that I did when I was younger, even before I became aware of that I was doing it. When I would go on dates, and I was just a young ass, arrogant ass kid, and I always thought that like I was the shit. So I go on a date with a girl, and I wouldn't even compliment her, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're so cute," or "You're a player," or this and that and the third, trying to compliment me. I'd be like, "Yeah, I know." I wouldn't even, it's crazy. I think about some of the shit that I did when I was younger, and it's fucking crazy. I'd be like, "Yeah, I know." I wouldn't even say thank you sometimes. I'd be like, "All right, good looks." I'd be like, "I know, but what's good with you?" You know, just and I guess that worked when I was younger. Now I don't necessarily have to be so arrogant, and I think life has humbled me a bit. But I'm a lot more smarter, and I'm a lot more aware. My level of awareness is a lot better, and now that I'm a lot older, my game works exceptionally well on everyone, especially younger women. Women my age, it's like magic. It's almost like magic. But this is some of the things that I tell guys they have to do, and having game is very, very important. And I feel bad for the guys who think that they don't need to have game, because the guys who say, "Oh, I don't want to play games," it's not playing games. These are simply techniques and tactics, so you can have a great relationship with a woman. And especially with the narrative in society, that it's nuts. You're never going to succeed. You'll never succeed. Not, at least not to the level that you want.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree, and I actually just to give a little quick scenario again, like on my personal doing. So like, I was with this girl for a minute, and we had recently stopped talking. And to be honest, I slipped up. I started doing like being a little, like like kind of losing my masculine frame a little bit. You know what I mean? In the sense that like,
How
so
so?
we ended to give context. We were together for a minute. We started dating, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend. But then I broke up with her. I broke up with her. We went our separate ways, and then we started talking again. So when we started talking again, it opened up like a door, like and a door that kind of I didn't want to open up. Where like now she feels as though she had the balls in her court, and she feels like she could take more of that leadership role. You know what I mean? And I peeped it, and I wasn't having it. And this same girl was telling me, like, she told me straight to my face, like, "Oh, like for this to work, you need to chase me." And I was like, "That's not happening." Like I told her straight up, that is not happening. You know what I mean? So like as time progressed, like I just saw like
But
behavioral traits.
my
Go
thing
ahead.
is, but my thing is, how do you date someone, and then how does she ever come to that place? Like, how does she come to the place where she feels comfortable in even saying something like that?
And yeah, and I 100 trust me. Like when she's and I, you know what it comes down to. Like when we broke up, she told me like it was rough for her. Like because she was in a very terrible state when we broke up. Like she was crying, calling me every day, like, "Oh, just take me back." Blah, 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 blah. So then it came a time. Then that was like there was a 5 month gap where we weren't together, and I was doing my thing, she was doing her thing. But then she hit me up one day. She was like, "Oh, like let's hang out, let's see each other." And I was like, "You know what? All right, let's see where this goes." You know what I mean? So we kind of like rekindled things a little bit. But what ended up the reason why that scenario opened up a little bit was because she felt as though, oh, you're coming, we're making things, we're trying to like see where things go. So let's see how this goes. But for this to work, I need you to chase me since you broke up with me. And I told her, I was like, I ain't doing that. You feel me? Like that's not something I'm gonna do. And I stood my ground with that. And as I stood my ground, she started to realize I wasn't doing that. So she started to back away. She started to give me distance. And when I realized she gave me distance, I stopped. Like I basically like left her alone once again. But then now it's coming to a point where she's coming back and she's like reaching out to me again, like, oh, hey, da, 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 da. And I'm honestly at a point where it's like, yo, I'm not trying to deal with women like that, like who's trying to like play these like these games with me and try to make it seem like I need to chase them to try to get what they want out of them. So like I'm like, nah, bro. So 100% like I'm not with
Well,
all the
well,
games.
just as a little advice, one thing that I would tell you is, if a woman says that, especially you said she hit you back up first, or you hit her up.
So after we broke up, she hit me up.
Okay,
She
cool.
hit me up. She
That's
hit me up, and
that.
she was like, "Hey, like, how are you?" Da, 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 da. We
That's
got into a
but that's all. Look,
conversation.
look. That's all that matters, is because if somebody hits you up, you don't have to say I'm gonna chase you, because how does that look? You break up with her. You don't hit her. You don't hit her up. She hits you up. So my thing is, where like essentially when that happens, that person has less leverage. They have less power in the situation. Not trying to say that it has to be a power thing, but before I give that advice, the advice that I want to give to you on that in particular subject, what possessed her to say that, or that just came out of nowhere? Were you like texting her? Were you trying to meet up with her?
It
What
was in
was it?
person. So we were talking, right, and we were discussing. So I was just so she wanted to know like, okay, what are we doing here? Like she asked me, what are we doing? Are we trying to see if this goes somewhere again? Da 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 da. And I was just like, I mean, honestly, like, yeah, we broke up. I'm taking things slow again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking things slow, not really trying to rush into anything again. Like, I'm gonna make sure if we do decide to go get, see where things go again, that we do it the correct way. You know what I mean? And I told her, I said, listen, like, if we do this the right way, there's certain things that I'm gonna need you to do that I didn't like about our relationship, and then there's a couple things that I had to fix on myself. I'm not perfect either, so I came to the synopsis on that, and we got into a little scuffle. We got into a little disagreement on a couple of things that like we talked about, and then she was telling me like, oh, honestly, for this to really work, like you need to chase me. Like that's the only way it'll work. And I was like. It's like, what are you talking about? That's why I was just like, bro, you're not that ass, right? Like, you can't be serious with
So
it.
wait,
You know
so
what I
wait,
mean?
when it came to the situation of, well, I because that's one advice that I would give when you break up with somebody and somebody comes back to you, and this is what I tell clients too. I say, well, if that person comes back to you, which is even better, and you should take that healthy space so that you can give them time to miss you. But when that person comes back to you, and they want a relationship, you like, well, one, you need to address the reason why you broke up first, and you need to say, well, we can, and I'm open to it, but there was a lot of things that I didn't like in our relationship that I would like to have fixed. So when you said that, what was the response to that? How does she come from? How do you go from, I'm still working on myself, but there's things as to why I broke up with you, and I would like those to change if we can work out. So how did she reply to that, and how she get to the place where, oh, you need to chase me? Because it just sounds completely random and unreasonable.
Yeah, no, and I agree, bro. Like, I think a lot of it comes down to just her being emotional about how we broke up, right? And the fact that she was just completely distraught by the fact that I broke up with her the way I did. Because to be honest, like when I broke up with her, the part of the reason why I broke up with her is just I like similarly to you, like I have a lot of shit going on in my life. Like I'm a man that's kind of on his purpose and kind of doing what he got to do for himself. So like there was coming a point with her where she was just becoming unbearable to be around in the sense that she wanted a lot of this attention. She wanted me to always be around her. Oh, why aren't you calling me? Oh, why aren't you texting me? And I was just like, bro, like, and I tried to explain to her. I said, listen, like, I got a lot of shit going on. Like, I got work. I'm DJing. I'm doing this. I'm doing all these other things, all these extracurricular activities. And I need you to understand that I don't have all the time in the world to be able to give you my attention. And for some reason, it didn't really make sense to her. Like, oh, but you still hang out with your friends. You still do this. You still do that. So that's to shed a little light on why I broke up with her. That's the reason. So when I told her like this is why I'm breaking up, this is the reason why, she just kind of caught off left field, and I'm like, bro, it should make sense. Like I kind of explained to you over the past few months before I break up why this kind of happened. You know what I mean? So she used that as a reason to be like, whoa, since you broke up with me and we're trying to work things out, well, for this to work, you need to chase me. And I was like, well, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you're
Yeah, I
bugging.
mean, I get that, but this is the thing and it's like it's like when I tell guys, when a lot of guys I say, well, you need to lead your relationship, you need to play the masculine role. A lot of guys think that they have to tell their girlfriend that they have to tell her like, oh, I'm the man and I have to do this and that's the way. No, there's certain things that you don't need to express. There's certain things that don't need to be said. So
Of course.
when she says something like, oh, you have to chase me, you can say, hey, you understand that one of the main reasons why we broke up is because I was so busy. Now what I can say is, we can try to make a more of a compromising time gap. We can try to make more of a compromising situation where I can maybe see you a little more. But with that being said, you have to understand that I'm still very much so a busy person. So that whole idea, that whole concept of chasing you, it's not something that I can even do. And I think even before that, like I said, we can work on things, but let's just work on things. And it's something you respond to, but it's not something you keep. Oh, I'm not doing that. Oh, I'm not, because in her head, it's automatically, well, damn, like he's not gonna even make effort. No, but you can say, like, listen, obviously, because if you're gonna get back with somebody, there has to be a change in the situation from both of you, right? Because obviously there were things that she didn't like, and there's things that you didn't like. But overall, she has to change more because you left her. She didn't leave you, right? And then on top of that, she came back to you. So it's like, if you really want this, you have to do what I'm asking of you. That means you have to be a little more relaxed and accept that I'm a busy person. And then we have to work around things and understand that I won't be able to call you 24/7. I'm not going to be able to text you all the time. But that's not something you have to tell her, oh, I'm not chasing you. Like, it's like one of those things. Women say a lot of things, but they don't always mean it, right? Women say, "Oh, I hate you," or "I'm not doing this," or "I'm not doing." Like, women, a lot of it's just talk. Women ask for things that they don't necessarily want. For example, in your situation, a lot of the times where women ask for a lot of attention and they get it, then they're kind of turned off by it. They're kind of repulsed. Not all, but a lot of women are repulsed
That's
by
true.
it. And I see it because I speak to a lot of guys who go through that exact situation. So what I'm telling you is, you don't always have to say it. You'd be like, yeah, like, we can try, but at the end of the day, just understand that I'm still very much so busy. We can try to make more time, but understand that I'm very much so busy. And since I've been single, my schedule is even more busier. And then you have to understand, hey, I don't mind talking to you. I don't mind being open up to a relationship, but you have to understand I've been single and there are people that I'm talking to. So this way, when you do that, you also implement a level of competition anxiety. So you're telling her, yeah, I still care about you. Yeah, I'm open to a relationship, but you have to understand there's people on the horizon that potentially can take you away and eliminate you by putting in work. So now she's going to put more effort naturally. See, it's like little nuances, little slick things that you got to throw in there to, you don't always have to say, no, I'm not chasing you. You got to be
Yeah,
smooth. It's just about having game.
yeah, no, 100%. I think, and it was a heated conversation. So like when that came out her mouth, bro, I was just taken aback. I was just like, what? I was just like, there ain't no way you saying that. You feel me? So like that was my initial reaction, but
Mm.
I do 100%. I agree with you what you're saying though. Like But but like you said, that competition anxiety, she already feels it. Because I went to Pittsburgh not too long ago. She peeped my story. She saw I was getting lit in the sections, whatever it may be. She gonna text me. She gonna call me. Oh, let me come see you. As soon as I came down to New York, I'm like, all right, bro. So what's up? So she came see me, and then she was like, first thing she asked me, so did you fuck any girls? I was like, bro, you're funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, but I'm to be honest, bro. Like, I'm just bringing this up as a point of reference for the topic, and just kind of like what we're talking about. I'm personally not even pressed about shorty no more. You feel me? Like, it is what it is. Like I said, like I'm kind of doing my own thing, like talking to other girls. So it's not. I'm not even pressed about it. But like, I think it's a good kind of topic because I'm sure there's other guys in that maybe in a similar situation where they're dealing with an ex and they're kind of dealing with them either being hot or cold depending on how they're behaving and reacting to them. So yeah, no, I just wanted to kind of shed light and give my personal experience there.
No problem, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming up.
No problem, bro. Hey, man, like I said, I've been watching you for a minute, like when you first started. So I gained a lot of inspiration from you and learned a lot from people like you. So I appreciate you dropping gems.
No problem, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. Keep on supporting. If you can, make sure you hit the link in the bio, get the book, How to Make Her Obsessed. That's volume 1. I'm gonna make a volume 2. It's a lot of good stuff in there. And even writing it, I went back and looked at notes, and it's a lot of things that I relearned myself, because I've taken coaching a few years back, and it's a lot of good stuff in there. So if you can, get a chance to check that out, and even you can take some of that stuff and create it content for you. I don't, because that's just gonna happen anyway. So I don't mind that.
100%. I'll definitely give it a look. Definitely.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming up. Anytime. All right. But yeah, guys, make sure that you get the ebook. Link in the bio. How to Make Her Obsessed is a really good book. It's a lot of good techniques and tactics. Just a lot, and trust me, I think there's one dangerous one in there. And I don't want to talk about it on here, but you can, just go look at that. But anyway, I want to end this off. I want to get to another topic. I'm gonna end this live, and I want to get on the LGBT. I love talking about that shit. Obviously, it's Pride Month, and I love talking about that stuff. So if you guys come back up, I'm gonna be on TikTok, and I'm gonna be talking about it. If you guys got any questions, throw some last minute questions in there, and I'll answer your questions, and we can do that. Socrates, good luck, sir. I appreciate you. When you're texting a girl, should you be happy and excited, showing energy while texting or talking and being nonchalant? Well, there has to be a mixture. You should show energy, but then also there has to be times where certain things you don't react to, certain things you don't really care for. You want to show character via text messages, and also some things you like. If you don't really like something, skip over it, change the topic, don't respond to it. You got to be mysterious. Don't be so easy. Girls like a challenge too. Is the volume 1 based on when you first meet a girl? Yes, absolutely. And also some of those things can correlate into relationships, but volume 1 is definitely based for when you first meet a girl. Some of those techniques can be implemented in relationship, but the second one is going to be more techniques and more surrounded by relationship based. One thing that I did leave out of volume 1, because I kind of did it a little backwards. I left respect. Respect is super important. But a lot of those techniques can and you will implement them in a relationship. And especially with giving space. And even in a relationship, you can keep mystery and you can maintain mystery. Very much so. I think that I've specialized in, me personally, just looking at my own anecdotal personal experience. I've specialized in making a woman fall in love. I think any woman that I've talked to long term, seriously and consistently, they've all fallen in love. I think every girlfriend I've ever had has fallen in love with me like crazy, always like crazy in love, like on some Beyonce crazy in love shit, like always dramatic situations, always crying, always Like they're just, it's just always, I don't know what it is. I just think it's something about myself. I just think that I'm the perfect ingredient to fall in love with. And I think that that's something that I need to share with guys. You know, I know a lot of guys are at a deficit when it comes to that. And a lot of guys are not good with women. I think this is more representation of your average man. When a guy has money, he has some character, you know, things get a lot easier. But when you're not necessarily rich, when you're not necessarily don't have a lot of resources, um, I think that I'm the guy to look to. And I think that that's for most people. Most people aren't rich. Most people don't have a lot of resources. Most people, you know, are not going to pick up a girl because he has a nice car. And even when you do have a nice car, you know, that doesn't always do it all. You know, you also have to, you know, have to have some game. All right. Socrates, are you going to come to the next live and moderate? That will every time I'm a little afraid to do the live because every time I do it, I always get kicked off for a few days. It is so fucking annoying. And I don't even be doing shit. I bet. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna end this one off. I'll be on TikTok. So make sure you go on TikTok. It's Fisherman KB. What I'm gonna do is, I will. I'm gonna log off of here. I guess if we count, if I decide to count this as a podcast, it'd be 178, I believe. And then I'm gonna log off of this fisherman page is fisherman4l on TikTok. I'm gonna log in, I'm gonna log back on, and we're just gonna do a whole nother topic. And Socrates is gonna be moderating for me, said he would. Appreciate you, Socrates. That's why you can always text me and ask me anything. You know that's like coaching, but you got it for free because you're basically working. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to end this one off. I'll be back tomorrow. Consistency is key. I'll holla at you. I'm going to end this off here, and then we're going to come right back.